World Cup Day 15, 10 Things You Missed. The World Cup group stages are now over and we head full steam into the knockout stages in Russia, with England set to face Colombia on Tuesday. Japan managed to book their place in the knockout stages due to a better disciplinary record than Senegal, while Colombia qualified for the last 16 with a 1-0 win over African nation. In Group G, Belgium bested England thanks to a stunning Adnan Januzaj strike while Tunisia beat Panama 2-1. There are, however, some things you may not have known about Day 15. Sportsmail brings you 10 things you may have missed from the day's action in Russia. Batshuayi gets a face full. This may be a things you missed article, but Michy Batshuayi's embarrassing gaffe after Januzaj's opener certainly wasn't missed by the 35,000 fans inside the Kaliningrad stadium on Thursday. The Belgium striker was spotted in the England goal mouth-booting the ball in celebration seconds after Belgium took the lead. Unfortunately for Batshuayi, the ball rebounded off the post with some force and straight back at his face. Minutes after the game, Batshuayi saw the funny side of the incident after opening up his Twitter feed. The Chelsea man tweeted, I knew I would be FD the minute I come to my mentions. Why am I so stupid, bro? St hurts. It happens to the best of us, Michy. Tottenham love in at halftime. The Premier League was well represented in England's final group stage game with Belgium as several club teammates found themselves on the other side of the dugout on Thursday. Harry Kane, Kieran Trippier and Delali were seen having a chit-chat with their Tottenham colleagues Jan Vertonghen and Toby Alderweireld at the interval as the two nations rested up for the second half. England keeps an eye on yellow cards. One of the permutations that loomed over England's game with Belgium was that if the game ended as a draw, the winner of the group would be the team with the least yellow cards. With the road to the final arguably harder if you finish as group winners, fans were keeping a close eye on the card count throughout the game before the deadlock was broken. But it wasn't just the supporters who kept an eye on each team's disciplinary record, as England's official Twitter page let their followers know that they too were keeping score. Most changes ever for a single World Cup game. England and Belgium made history by making 17 changes to their starting sides for their final group game. Gareth Southgate made 8 changes to the side that thumped Panama 6-1, while Roberto Martinez named 9 different players to start the game in Kaliningrad. Some of the changes saw Nacer Chadli and Thorgan Hazard as wing-backs, positions they hadn't played before. England's young guns. The 9 changes Southgate made to his England team also meant it was the second youngest Three Lions side at the World Cup. Trent Alexander-Arnold, 19, and Marcus Rashford, 20, were some of the youngest talents on display for England in Kaliningrad, pushing the average age down to 25 years, 251 days collectively for the starting 11. The youngest ever England squad at a World Cup came 16 years ago when the Three Lions faced Sweden in the group stage of the 2002 World Cup in South Korea and Japan. More records are broken for the first time in World Cup history. All 32 teams have scored at least 2 goals in the group stages. The record was confirmed after Panama scored the opening goal against Tunisia, capping off a positive 15 days for the tournament. The news wasn't all good for some, as bookmakers bet Victor have to pay out £663,000 after both Poland and the South American side scored their second goal of the tournament on Thursday. Ouch. Phil Neville not impressed by brother Gary's dress sense. Gary Neville usually has to put up with Jamie Carragher's banter on Monday Night Football, but he is now getting it from his own brother after wearing a questionable shirt on ITV's coverage of England's game with Belgium. Phil took to Instagram to call out Gary on his fashion sense by humorously pointing out that the grey patterned shirt was never in their wardrobe when they were growing up. He said, "Get that off at Neville too. That was never in our wardrobe back in the day." No goals for the Poles. Poland keeping a clean sheet against the team sitting top of Group H was impressive, but it becomes even more so when you realize that it was their first World Cup shutout in 32 years. That's right, the last time a Poland goalkeeper walked off the pitch at the World Cup having not conceded was 1986, after a 1-0 win over Portugal. Since then, they've conceded 23 goals in their 10 matches. So hats off to Lukas Fabianski. It's just a shame they're heading out in the group stages. Some serious face paint in the 3 p.m. games. When your team is gearing up for a vital World Cup clash, there are a few options available as a supporter. You could meet your mates for a pint beforehand. Or you could cover yourself head to toe in colorful paint instead. Indeed, these guys below did the latter, and there were some extraordinary outcomes. Some is a little shoddy, see the Japanese guy at the end, paint everywhere, and some is spectacular. A special mention to the Senegal boys who have been spotted at every group game. Hopefully we'll spot them in the last 16, too. A great day for Valderrama. He's seen a lot in his life. But there aren't many better things than watching your team score late on to secure their progression at the World Cup. Colombia legend Carlos Valderrama was once again in the stands in Samara to watch his country progress, thanks to a second-half header from Yerry Mina. He looked delighted as he watched on from a box. But there was no sign of old friend René Higuita, who was spotted with him at the last group match.